Hi everybody, it's Ann. Today I want to talk a little bit about Google's apps in education to go along with our lesson for weeks 4 and 5. Just going to get this up. The reason we're using Google Apps is Google has a lot of things that are make it easy for people to use their tools. They've created more and more things over the past couple of years to becoming quite the monopoly on their different types of applications that you can use. And they have a strong presence in education now. What you might be seeing if you looked at your policy paper and things like that last week is that some of the districts are accepting parts of Google applications into their policy, and also, and I shouldn't say just say district, I should say higher ed too, because some of you are in higher education. So one thing they did was they make things very easily accessible, meaning you can create them and use them and share them among students and among training, among professional development. The other reason I picked Google Apps for us is a lot of the skills, as I mentioned in the writing, a lot of the skills are transferable. I've been over to districts and different education places, and I see that they are using things like School Center, and some of them use Moodle. So many of the tools that you're going to be using, if you make things in Google, you can take the same skills and put them forward. Let me give you an example. When you make a school website or a professional development website, what's really important there is what's on the page. You know, what are you putting there? The idea of what makes a good website versus what tools you have in there are two different things. So why would you have a website? Why would you use this tool? The whole idea behind what we're doing is, why would I use this in education, and how does Google make it simple for me to do that? I'm going to show you some examples as we go through here of some things that other students did and one site that I'm developing in Google. Okay, so as I said, districts are accepting Google, meaning some of them, you'll see one video in here from Hilton Central School District where they're using Google Docs in the course. And what they're doing for that is they can have students share some writing, and also they can track who's writing what and who commented, things like that, so they can see who's involved in the writing. That's part of what they're doing. Also, just presently, Brockport took on using Google as the email for students. The Gmail is in the background of Google, or I should say Brockport email, but they've only taken into a few of the apps. They're not accepting all of them into the Brockport email. So I'm going to show you a few of these things, and then we'll come back to some of the other things we're going to be working on. There is a debate. I want to say one more thing. There is a debate about information gathering by Google. Well, you know, when a company takes your information, they have uses for it. So you might have some conversation about the pros and cons of using this, and part of it is, you know, Google taking all of your information. It's a marketing piece. So how do they find out what you do? Who do they share it with? You know, other companies do they share it with? I mean, do you go and look for certain things and then they share that with the company? Say you buy certain kind of sneakers. Do they share it with the sneaker companies? What you will find with Google is they start to look at, you know, what you're searching out. So if you go to do a search on Google and you're looking for a certain type, like I said, a certain type of sneaker, what you're going to find is they start noticing what you're looking at, and they start putting up things that they think are of interest to you first when you do a search. So in a lot of ways, that, you know, it might be good, but other ways it somewhat narrows and limits a person when you're more of a liberal studies kind of thing and you want to look at different information. So if you put something out there, say you're looking in their Google Scholar, and you're starting to look for articles, they will start to notice what you look at, and they will send you things. So take note of that. You know, there is a part behind that. I'm using Google for reasons, I think, because it's accessible, and I will show you one of the things that I'm making now, and I'll show you why I'm using that. So let's take a peek here. Okay. So let me just give you a couple examples of what we're using Google for right now. Presently, I'm working on I'm in a faculty learning community at Brockport, and we decided we were going to try to write an article together to get published. And the faculty learning community is on comprehension and technology. So what we're trying to do is look at some of these tools we're using. You know, I have an iPad, and some of the other faculty have different tools, Nook Reader and things like that, Kindle. And we're looking at how is this helping in education. I mean, we're doing the same thing I want to do in this class, looking at why would we use this, is this of value, and are students learning from it, versus let's just buy the tool, let's buy the next new thing, and let's see how it works. We're trying to really look at the comprehension part. So we decided we were going to write an article together, and you're going to see it here. What we did was we were all, because we put it up on Google Docs, we were all able to write in here, add comments, and simultaneously and write things, and also it's easy accessible. Instead of someone making changes in like a Word doc and sending it through email, we started to write the document right here. So we all could put in our comments and add our own sections. You can see some of the things here. So it was a real value to us. All right, guys, we're reconnecting. It's taking a minute. So anyways, what we did was we did a lot of writing. We could ask questions to each other. We could see who wrote what. And I'm trying to get to things here. I think this was our last one. This was our last version, so you're not seeing some of the other things. But anyways, like I said, we were all able to do this. You can see parts here where someone wrote in a comment. People could respond, and like I said, it's simultaneously, so I could actually see someone else typing somewhere else, and it's out in something called the cloud. Now, when they say the cloud, I think what it does for people, it gives you an image that it's out there somewhere, and it's a good image, meaning you look at something and you say, oh, it's up there, it's out there in the universe. You don't have to really know where it's housed, but it's accessible to all because it's out there in that cloud. And really, what it is, it's on Google's network. So that's what that is. So there's one example of something that we're using. That's one part. Also, what I want to show you is some of the sites that we have. Now, I made a couple of different sites for classes. Let me show you one. Actually, I'll do that one later. I'm going to sign in. I want to show you what I'm making. I'm making it in a different name. First, I want to show you a blog. So forgive me on this one. Last year, for one of our projects, in EDI 581. As you know, this is a team project. Students decided for their team projects for weeks 4 and 5, they decided to make a blog using something that was of interest to all three of them. This was a 3-people one, 3-student one, and they decided they were all interested in hiking. And I saw that in their getting to know them. I saw they had an interest in there, and the levels, they were each different. One was a high school teacher, one was a substitute, and I think another might have been elementary. But they did have something in common. So they made this great website, or blog. I will put this up as a link for you to see about the Appalachian Trail. So this is the kind of project I'm hoping that you'll look at. They use tools such as, I think they use Picasa, which is the Google tool. It's a photo editor. And they used the Blogger ones, which allows you to they have templates and everything, so you can make the background. So what they did was here, they started to do some really good academic things, unwanted microscopic companions, all these different things about the trail. So here's a good use in education where you can get students in and they can talk about, you can share information and talk about things. This can also be done as a professional collaboration. They put all kinds of things in. I want you to search this out. Take a look at this one as one of the models. You'll see the kinds of work that they did. But the Blogger is nice because what it is the conversation piece. But it's nicer than our discussion board in a way because you can add all this beautiful imagery and things, and it's not bland. And it also adds a lot to people, the visual aspect of the whole thing. So take a look at this one. But what they did was they put a lot of great academic things in here. I should say teaching things, teaching parts. So take a look at this. This is one example. And here's a website that was made last year also. And this was done on Google Sites. I think I should show you how to get to some of those, and I will do that. This is done on Google Sites. What Google Sites has is they have a lot of templates you can use. You don't have to figure out how can I make a website. They make it very simple for you on the tool end. So you can see about if you decide to make a website. These 2 students together decided to make, Ms. Williams and Ms. Jonas decided to make a website for parents. And you can see how the things that they put in here, if you take a look through it, what they put in for parents to understand what the student needs. Now, what I want you to take a real notice about is what is the value of this website. It's not I made a website. It's what I made a website that reaches out to parents to give them information that they need. And also it fits the parameter of, there's some website stuff here that when you study how to make a website, you look at everything being on one page. You don't have to scroll. You don't have too much text. You don't have to go to more than 2 spots, 2 2 or 3 hits, I should say, clicks on a website to get something of importance to you. So they did follow the parameters, but Google made it easy for them because they made where you can have all of these links, and they could fill in the information. So take a look at some of those easy to use templates. So I want you to take a look through this one. So like I said, they had some really good stuff in here about what they did during the week. And you will find it, I think once you get started on this, you will find that it's not as difficult to do as you might think as you start. Some of you may have the background in it anyways. I do want to say one thing to everybody. Please reach out to me if you need help. Don't feel as if you're alone. There's no reason in an online course to feel alone with all the means of communication that we have, such as telephone, such as Skype, such as, hey, let's get together. There's no reason why we can't do this. So this was one of them, and I want you to take a look at. Now I'm going to sign in for a minute. I want to show you something about Google. You will see above here, once you create a Google account. Now you can create a Google account by just creating a Google account or trying to get a Gmail. Either way, you will get an email. You will get a Gmail account whether you sign in for a Google account or a Gmail account. You will get one. And that's the thing you need to share with us is that Gmail. You do have a Gmail account with Brockport, like I said, but the stuff that they're allowing to use, the apps they're allowing you to use are limited compared to what you do if you go out and get right to a Gmail. So you see they start to have different things. Images, maps, play, YouTube is part of it, documents. And you will see here you have more. There are many, many things you can choose from. And if you get right into, believe me, you get right into Google, there's a lot of stuff that's very helpful the more you know. There's always something new every day, so you can only keep up with certain things and learn what you want to learn at the time. What I want you to do these next couple of weeks, I think what's important here is that you're trying to make something and you're learning. So I think that the idea, are you making the best and the grade and all that, is not what I would like you to think about as the most important thing. The important thing is for you as an educator or trainer to look at, how do I use this and how can I help whoever I'm training, my students, my faculty. Some of you are in higher ed and you're with faculty. How can I help them to use these tools in an effective way, and especially thinking about that digital generation? How do I help them? What can I do for them? And how does this at all affect their learning? Okay, so if you take a look through here, you have a lot of different things you can do. You can do some searches. You can use mobile. Everything's becoming more mobile. And they have media, Google Play, video search. Picasa is the photo one. Books. You can do a great thing on looking for information. As you all know, everybody doesn't even say look it up anymore. They're saying Google it. Here are some things that some of you may want to use in, I've seen teachers use Google Earth and Maps. And then you have things for your home. If you want to be able to get to your calendar. I have my calendar linked up to my iPad and on my computer here. And then you start looking at social, Blogger, Google Plus. Now that's a whole new thing. Google Groups. Google Groups is their version of, I shouldn't say a version of their Facebook, but it is in competition with Facebook. And what they're doing in Groups is, instead of having your one Facebook page and everybody you invite everybody and everybody can see everything you're doing, they put it into groups where you can only certain people can see certain things. So we all know that there's issues with sharing, putting certain pictures up on Google on Facebook, and then employers see it, or teachers if you're in the union or something like that. You can have trouble with your districts if you have pictures up there and that they deem are inappropriate for your students to see, stuff like that. So groups their idea is that you break things into groups so only certain people can see certain things. I still don't think it's safe to do anything that shouldn't be out there, because we are talking about putting your information out, but that's one of the things they're trying to do there. And then they have other things, specialized searches, innovation. They help you with code if you want to be a writer of, develop some of these tools. That's for code, HTML code and things like that. So this is what the products are. Now I want to sign in to a different account so I can show you. I'm going to sign out here. I know you have to sit through this while I do this, so forgive me. I'm going to sign into an account. Right now we are working on, I couldn't pull this up at the same time, so I have to sign in while we're together. I am working on a course between Brockport and Novgorod, University of Novgorod in Russia. It takes me a minute here, forgive me, because of the passwords. Let's see. So we're working on a class, and what we're going to do is we have a class in Russia and a class in Brockport, and we have a fellowship that allows us to have a course that's going to be between the two groups of students. This is a women and gender studies class. And what we're going to be doing is it's going to be a hybrid class in the sense that each teacher, Dr. Barbara Lasavoy and our teacher in Russia, they're going to be teaching the class independently, but we're going to be getting together at least maybe 3-4 times during the semester, during our upcoming fall semester, on a distance learning system where the students can see each other. But what we are going to be doing is we're going to be following the same course. They're going to be teaching the same course, and students are going to be able to team from these different countries. So what I wanted to do was, in Brockport we have something called Angel at this time, and which is where we're learning our courses on Angel, and it's called our learning management system. Now there's a couple of reasons. We could have tried to do all of our course in Angel, but I thought there might be some difficulties. 3 things. I thought there might be difficulties with getting the students in from another place. Sometimes there is, especially if the group is large. It's not easy for the people who manage Angel to do that. The other thing is, I was very interested in looking at learning these tools myself. I wanted an applicable use for the Google tools, and also we wanted to make the course feel like it's both universities. It does not belong to one university. So if we kept it in our system, it would seem like Brockport was the lead. This is really a joint class. So what I decided to do was to make a website that mimics kind of our learning management system of things that we're going to be doing for our class. This is now our class learning management system. Now I'm just at the beginning of it because I have yet to get more information from the 2 faculty members, and I'm also going to be teaching one of the classes. So I had to look at it differently because Angel is a bit different, so I had to take my time and figure out what I was going to do for the class. But this is Gender Roles Across Culture is what we're going to call the class. We found out some of the words that we use in the United States are really not accepted in the Russian culture. We use the word sex and culture. They only have one term for the word sex. It's not gender. It means one thing. So, here in Brockport, they thought it was a way to get students to sign up, whereas Russia, it would not be accepted. So we're realizing the terminology really has to be somewhat different. So I started to make a site for us, and I used a template. And so you see we have a video from our first meeting. It takes us out to, I linked it here, it takes us to YouTube. This was our first class meeting together. I can't open this one up for you yet because I'd have to get permission from the teachers that are our teachers. So there's a video that we use in class. Here's our syllabus. It's just going to take a minute. Here's our syllabus. This is the one syllabus right now. I'm waiting for the syllabus from the other faculty member or the other teacher in. I hope this isn't coming across blurry for you. Am I moving it? From their teacher in Russia. So we're going to change that. We have our books and our schedule, similar to what you're seeing in the classes. And then I started to make things by week. So I'm trying to mimic what we're doing. So I found for our class, I found this will work because we found in Russia they could do it, and here we could do it. Students can see the work, they can work together, and that's why I thought that the Google apps for our class was going to be the best thing. So that's what I want you to look at here is, why am I doing this? What's the value in this for education? I know I'm repeating myself here. So anyways, this is what I wanted to show you on this part. So let's go back to our stuff here. All right, so what I want you to do this week then is I would like you to be able to feel comfortable. Here's what we're doing this week. For the next 2 weeks, I want you to work together as a team. Now, when I say team, again, you can use those communication tools. You guys can meet face-to-face. You can call each other on the phone. You can Skype. You can do whatever you have to do. You can email. You can set up these documents. Whatever you have to do to work together as a team. And I found, I'll be honest with you, last year I found that the team projects were the strongest. And the reason for that, I believe, is you've got all of your great minds together. You've got your interests together. And I think when I've seen people who are trainers and teachers get together, some fabulous stuff happens because teachers are very creative, trainers are very creative. And I really think that when you put out an idea to them, that it becomes very strong. So please enjoy this 2 weeks. Please feel free to contact me so you don't feel alone while you're doing this, and get together with your teammate. Send me notes, call me, whatever it takes to make it easy for you to do the course. All right, guys, thanks so much, and I will be looking for your work.